Dubai. You compete with people that have extremely good skill set. You will not exist.
The story of large-scale manufacturing setup in UAE, how this seed becomes this rough.
The potential is huge. We're talking about a market today of 130 to 150 million carat globally.
What was the foundation vision of 2.4 motto that helped you throughout your career to scale businesses?
How much love have you invested in your product? That's what you pay for. It's simple. It's your choice.
What steps do you think as flag bearer of lab-grown diamonds to bring out this narrative that it's not a competition to natural?
The most important thing for the lab-grown diamond is education. Education and education.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Jewellery Pod. I'm your host Krishna, where I bring stories of manufacturers, entrepreneurs, designers, and anybody awesome who's contributing to this industry. Today's podcast is my personal favorite because I'm covering the story of large-scale manufacturing setup in UAE who manufactures lab-grown diamonds. I'm gonna show how this seed becomes this rough and we get to see this final outcome. Let's join our hands to welcome Rogger, who's co-founder of 2.4, to discuss further and know more about this interesting journey of lab-grown manufacturing in UAE. Hi Rogger, how are you?
Hello Krishna, thank you for having me.
Thanks to you for joining and sharing your experience with us. It would be awesome. This would be one of a kind episode where we would be covering manufacturers. So as co-founder of 2.4, I can't wait honestly to know more how these things grow. But also your earlier journey is very interesting. You're not from the industry, and people coming not from the industry are my personal favorite. Tell me about your earlier days.
Thank you so much. It's a very, very good question, Krishna. I started in the fashion industry for many years ago. So I have been working in that industry for whole my life and have always been interested in change, creating concept, develop things, working with quality as well as big volumes. I think one of the most interesting thing is to sell good quality to a lot of people at the same time. So I've been working with mainly all the brands in fashion, in kidswear, in jewelry, in watches, all over the world. And how did I come into this business? I was building a watch brand called Daniel Wellington for 5 years, and that was an incredible journey that taught me a lot in scaling, globalization, how important it is to nail the product, how important it is with communication, how you communicate. We started in an era where Instagram was hardly not existing, yes, which was of course very helpful for us at that time. I was traveling 250 days a year, more or less. I'm from Sweden, and started to move around and find places to live all over the world. In New York, I had a place in Hong Kong, and of course I found a place in Dubai, because I was sitting one day with my assistant and said, I cannot continue to travel like I do. This is impossible. It will kill me. So I looked at a map. In the middle of the world, based on how I travel, was Dubai. So more or less 6 hours to each and every place where I was traveling. The business was growing a lot in Asia at that time. So I took the decision to move my base to Dubai. And from there, I was traveling around. So I lost US, but it was not so important at that time in terms of traveling, 14 hours. But I had 6 hours to the rest of the world, basically.
And what you started diamonds in UAE?
When I have had more or less 5 years of my career path on each and every mission, as the CEO for a department store, as the CEO for Daniel Wellington, and it has been that kind of pattern, and I don't know really why. Maybe 5 years is the optimal for me or my path. I took a long break and was off the business for a couple of years. I was taking some board assignment, advisory roles, did some small investment in fashion accessories companies. And I said to myself, I will not do this again if I don't really find a purpose. If I find something that I can be a part of changing, something that can really matters. Not only for me, also for people that coming after me, in one way of kind of maybe build a legacy. That was my biggest thinking. So I turned down a lot of offers that coming in, until I one day ran into an old colleague from Daniel Wellington, who had been starting to exploring a venture in lab-grown diamond. So this was just a PowerPoint presentation, but the people behind it, which also are my business partner today, had been working on this for a long time and handling everything from HPHT to CVD, what is happening in the industry. And it was quite, I would say, immature at that point from a commercial perspective, also technical perspective. They presented me this project in February 2022, and I fall in love in the project, in the idea, in what kind of disruption you could do here. Because we mainly did the same thing with Daniel Wellington. When we entered the market, it was a sleek watch, it was well priced, commercial product. And I remember when we were attending to the Basel Fair, people were laughing at us. What kind of company is this? A classic watch? And we come to Apple Watch was about to boom at that point. And then we just took the market with storm, because we had the right ingredients, we had the right product, and I saw exactly the same thing here. But this time, the purpose is something else, is to build and change an industry.
I was hearing about 2.4 when it was about to get established. I'm talking about nearly 3 years from now. People were dreading lab growns, which is weird narrative, honestly. I have had so many talks on this platform where everyone is in unison telling that it's not a competition to natural diamond. Well, that's not the topic today. The topic is about formation of the company, about manufacturing in UAE. Is a big step in itself. People know Dubai for its consumerism. People know Dubai for its massive retail. But this side of the business is quite unknown. And how you, as someone based not in UAE, would make up your mind to start a business, that to this large-scale business over here?
First of all, Krishna, I will say that we are working in an environment that are extremely friendly to growth. Look at what's happening. I have been here for 7 years, and it's not near the same city. 7 years back. My business partner have been here for more than 15 years, and it's even a much bigger difference. It's a entrepreneurial friendly environment to work here. It's also, as I mentioned earlier, it's close to everything. You also have, I will say, access to a lot of capital in terms of what's happening in the tech industry. How do you handle new energy, for example? Influx of people, the influx of competence that you need when you build a company, it's extremely important. And most of all, the sun is always shining, which is amazing, to be honest.
Roger, about starting lab growns over here, and I'm sure you were involved since the formation of the company. It was a very challenging side of the industry. People still yet to get more familiar with the concept, and whole being of lab grown is itself is a big topic in itself. What was your approach towards why you thought that it's something that you should invest in? You're coming from a rich experience of luxury and retail, and I'm very sure you could have just joined any other company, but there has to be some great thoughts, deep thoughts behind starting this.
It's a very good question, Krishna, and I will say the potential is huge. We're talking about a market today of 130 to 150 million carat globally. And now we're talking only in the gem industry. We don't talk about the industrial, only what makes us look more beautiful. And being part of taking a market share of that is very attractive, and do it in an environmental friendly way, at the same time focus on the high quality. It has become a little bit too much, I would say, discussion about competing with the natural. We don't compete with the natural. How can I? Why should I? I'm offering another product with the same chemical composition. It's carbon. It's purely carbon to a better price, to a higher quality, if you ask me, in general, because we can develop our recipes, how we grow, what we would like to grow, how we cut, which is the same process as the natural business. And that attracts me a lot. So the potential, quality, a commercial price, and it's for many people, not a selection of people.
That's a wise thought. And Roger, about talking about the size and scalability of the factory. So you're doing manufacturing right from the scratch to the rough of the same, growing the rough of the same, and then polishing. All these things are done within your unit.
Do you know that we are one of 3 in the world who growing on the quality and size of the reactor that we are doing today? So for us, it's the full process. To be able to grow quality stones, you need to have control of the reactor, the way of building the components, the way you develop your recipes, the way of how you control the environment with your software. So it's a lot of ingredients who make this process become a very good quality lab-grown diamond.
And is there any size or genre of diamond sizes that you're focusing on? As you said, good quality. So with quality, are you also focusing on the size?
Yeah, I will say at this point we are quite small. We actually raising funds as we speak to increase our facility with much more reactors. Today we cannot supply the demand that we have. So we try to focus on give the customer what they asking for. So it can be smaller stones, 50 pointers up to 3 carats. For us to take too many of our reactors to grow big stones, which is more risky, you need to be very, very, very detailed and focused, and it takes time to grow something big. That will become the next step in our journey. So now we focus on good size, up to 3 carat, you can say.
The audience of the Jewellery Pod often have put this question that which is more sustainable. Who would be the right person than anybody else to answer this? We have no control how natural diamond is formed, but we have full control of how lab-grown diamond is formed. So what's your opinion firsthand? What would you say as per facts, which is more sustainable?
First of all, if I ask you a question, do you think it's any difference on the way that a diamond is formed above or below soil?
Chemical composition wise, no. Efforts, there are many ways.
So we're trying to mimic the process that's happening down there. You can think of it like the sun. You have a seed, the one that you show in the beginning of our talk. You have a composition of gases, which you can compare to the weather outside. So sun, a seed, and weather. And then the growing process is starting. The thing that takes time for a diamond to transport itself in earth is from the mantle of the earth up to the soil where it's reachable for us as a human being. That's the process that we cut away. The other thing is more or less the same. You can grow lab-grown diamond on 2 different ways, HPHT and CVD. We're doing CVD because we believe that that's the best and also more environmentally friendly. And when it comes to that, we don't touch land, we don't touch water. We have the same water system to cool down the process when we grow the diamond compared to the natural industry. We are working in controlled lab, which means that we know the labors, we don't touch communities. We're recruiting people. Actually, when it comes to the UAE, we have brought, I think, 35 people outside UAE with special competence, PhD, engineers, scientists with super skilled brains to be able to do this to this country. And the environment here welcoming people. So it's not only friendly in terms of we don't affect the land, we also bring more people in the process. Do you know what I mean?
I'm on the same page. What was the foundation vision of 2.4 when you started? So it's not only gonna manufacture, but are there any plans to manufacture and export it as well?
Yeah, what has happened with the company from the beginning, we were planning only to sell rough. But then, as everyone knows, so listen to this podcast, the price structure was changing dramatically, especially for bad quality. So we start to go over to polished stones. Then we saw that the influx of customer coming from the jewelry industry who need also help to create brands. And when you look at the structure of the company, the competence that we have today, we have one of the founders has a super tech background, another one has a diamond background, myself is branding, scaling brands globally. I have opened stores in all over the world with Daniel Wellington, so we were everywhere. Then we start to discuss, why don't we help and support our clients in the full system? So we today also producing jewelry for our clients. We sell polished stones, we don't sell rough. And we're helping our clients to develop their company, because when you build a company and you're young, you have a lot of ideas, you're super good at design, but you need help with the supply chain. And if you don't know and control the supply chain, you will never reach a success with the end consumer. So you need to find the mix. And one of my biggest challenges when I was building Daniel Wellington was the supply chain. Now I was lucky to work with super good people, but going from a couple of thousand watches a month in production till 100,000s of watches was not easy. So one of the philosophy here is to support our clients, our brands, with the supply chain, and also how to build the company, how to design, what to design, when to launch, how to launch, etc., etc.
With all the conversation we've had so far, you seems to be really close to the brand that you nurtured on the global level. And what was the one tip or motto that helped you throughout your career to scale businesses and bring them on global level?
I will say when I joined Daniel Wellington, the founder was a very young entrepreneur with an extremely good skill set in looking into potential. And to be working in an environment and see that everything is possible, nothing is possible. It's about the execution, it's about the vision, it's about what you believe in. And if you have that in place, you can do a lot of things, Krishna, a lot of things. And everything is possible, actually. But it takes time. And if you look at 2.4, for example, we have chosen to focus on the upper quality funnel. We grow very good stones today. We are not so tempted to run into the game for volume. Of course, we would like to have volume, but the volume has to be supporting the quality that we bring to the market, which is the most important thing for us. And if you have control of your product, you develop your product at the same time, you have the right, I will say, tools to grow. You will grow, and everything will go much, much, much easier. But it's hard to come to that position. Take the position. It's like in Formula 1. You like to have the pole position. When you have the pole position, you can start to go for gold.
And do you think it applies pretty much across all the industries? It's the approach, not the industry, I believe, right?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely. You have so many super entrepreneurs in the world. Look at a guy like Elon Musk. How is he actually doing what he's doing?
That has changed the face.
It's crazy.
Rogger, before getting into full-fledged operations of manufacturing in UAE, you and your partners did some market research. I'm talking about competition, the feasibility of manufacturing in UAE, the cost of manufacturing in UAE. Were these points in your consideration before starting?
Yeah, of course we did a lot of pre-studies when this project was starting. And my business partner had, as I mentioned earlier, been working with this for many years before I had the chance to enter the business. But I did my own study. Meanwhile, we were starting the facility. I was trying to catch as much information as possible. And I think, as we said in the very beginning of the podcast, it's an amazing country to build a company like this. Today, you have the biggest trading hub of diamonds, whatever the diamonds are born, natural or lab grown, in UAE.
Rough for that matter.
Yeah. So you have the industry here. Then when you look into production, the production of jewelry is been handling in Europe. You have Spain, you have Italy, you have in China, you have India, which is most probably the biggest one. And we have 2.5 hours to India here when it comes to the cut and polishing if the volume is too big. But we don't see that we would like to move our production of jewelry there. We believe that we can build a sustainable and very good supply chain here together with our partners that we work with in terms of jewelry. We grow the stones here, we can take the stone in an electrical car to the production facility, produce it here, and then ship it out in the world, wherever we have our consumers or clients.
And do you receive these questions about high manufacturing cost over here? How do you fathom as company with that?
Yeah, but it's all boils down to price. If you would like to do a good bargain, you can produce wherever you want to produce, and you can try to slash salaries for people who are working in low production cost countries. If that's your goal, our goal is to bring quality for whatever we are in the chain, for the workers, the gold, the diamonds, and everything. And that's the most important thing. You have a very interesting brand in the fashion industry. The name is Brunello Cucinelli. They produce and do everything in a little town of Italy. Everything. And it's super expensive because it's cost a lot to grow and do quality. I think it will come more and more these kind of things. It's about the consumer to choose where you would like to invest your money. It's not always about the price. That's my way of thinking. Right or wrong? I don't know.
But always, the lab growns are a better price alternative for diamonds. So this is how I see it, that people do want to choose better sourcing where they're getting price benefits.
Yes, of course. And you can buy a cheap lab-grown diamond, and you can buy an expensive lab-grown diamond, as well as you can do the same with a natural diamond. As well as you can buy cheap cotton, and you can buy expensive cotton. How is it grown? How is it treated? How much love have you invested in your product? That's what you pay for. It's simple. It's your choice.
Roger, in earlier conversation, you told about you doing specific kind of production of lab grown over here, which is high quality. And how do you ensure that you are known for the high quality production and your factory follows the same norms?
So we used to start with the same categorization as you do in natural diamonds, the 4 C's: color, clarity, cut. And when it comes to, since we can control the environment, you have so many other things. It's about the stability of how you grow. If you grow the stones too fast, you create a haziness, a milkiness in the stone, which will make the stone looks more dull.
Do you mean you can control 4 C's of diamonds?
No, I don't mean that I can control the 4 C's. Yeah, kind of. We aiming to grow D, E, and F. Clarity-wise, you more or less always, we at least 2.4, manage to grow VVS. And that depends how we control the environment, what kind of components we have in the reactors, the stability of the electricity, how we develop the recipes, etc., etc. And what is happening is if you grow a stone too fast, you stress the stones. So you make it dull and you make it milky, what in the business called BGM, black, grayish, and milkiness. You find a lot of milky stones As you also can find haziness in a natural stone today. When you have SI1, we don't grow SI1. Why should we grow something of such a bad quality when we have learned to grow higher and better in a more focused environment? This, I think, will change the industry, because we have to be adding on things in the grading system with this BG, light performance, and the cut. The cut is so important. If you have a triple X cut, it's a completely different stone. Completely different stone.
Do you have ways to control fluorescence of the stone? Roger, you're the marketing wizard, and you're trying to change the narrative of how things are seen, at least in our industry. There's a strong repulsion in the retail community in GCC about lab growns. There's no denying the fact there's no proper marketing has been done so far. What do you think will change this narrative? India is already way ahead of its time when it's about lab grown. US is doing amazing, no doubt about it. China also is doing decently. What steps do you think we should be taking, or as a community, as jewelry community, or someone who's flag bearer of lab grown diamonds, to bring out this narrative that it's not a competition to natural and it is a great choice?
If the natural diamond industry started in 40s or 50s, the Diamond Are Forever campaign. You're laughing at me now. So
I have spoken firsthand with the people who are involved in these campaigns, so I'm literally just giving me flashback of what they told me.
So, sorry to interrupt you. The most important thing for the lab-grown diamond community, if you call it like that, is education. Education, education, and education, and education. It's all about education. Transparency. This is what you buy. This is what it is. This is how it will evolve. This is how it will develop, etc., etc. That's our area to control and focus on, for sure. And then it's so many different formation. Everything has been information in the in diamond industry. You would like to control the narrative. How can you control the consumer? Why is lab-grown diamond taking so big part of the market? Why? You cannot control that. It's impossible. The consumer is the one who have decided that the lab-grown diamond is here to stay, no matter what other kind of groups are saying.
Consider you not from the manufacturing side, but from the retail side. How would you present this to a traditional jeweler out here who's doing business for more than 30 or 40 years in this region, in lab growns only? What would be your 3 steps?
I think what I see is the biggest change for a potential client to us today is when I invite them to our factory, when we present what we are doing, the craftsmanship between, or not between, it's behind a lab-grown diamond, the extremely competence in people to be able to grow such a good quality, to develop the reactors, to have the best instruments. That's beautiful. It's unique. And on top of that, you polish in the same way. So this is just a shift in the industry. So to make people come and see what is happening, how is it built, how is it grown, will change a lot of, I will say, people who are not believe in this. I believe that 80% of all diamonds that will be sold in 10 years will be lab-grown diamonds.
And believe it or not, it's a retailer, not the consumer, who's making the more noise about it.
Yes, but I think it's easy. They try to hold back in something that they are used to. Everyone are used to, this is the way, it has been this. They have been taught, educated, this is the way. But now this change. It's like AI. You cannot do anything about it. It's here. You have to learn it. I use ChatGPT every day. I become a much better person with that tool instead of fighting it.
Yeah, it's helping me.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
It saves my time, honestly. I do have thoughts and ideas.
You use it too?
I use it all the time.
Yeah.
it's giving me better pitch to my clients. It is giving me better pitch it is helping me to script the podcast in a better way, because I do have ideas, but also I need a copywriter to probably plan them for me according to how it would be more effective, how pleasing it's sounding to ears, or how catchy that could be. I'm very open about it. So I was in my podcast with Mr. Ahmad bin Sulaim, who's heading DMCC. He told one interesting thing that AI not going to take the jobs. It would be you'll be losing a job if you don't know how to do AI.
Yes.
And that sums up like pretty much whole narrative.
And Ahmed is a very, very intelligent person who has a big, I would say, saying in the diamond industry here in the country, and also in many other fields. And I 100% agree what he was saying. I'm listening to the podcast. Don't be afraid. Embrace it, learn it, understand it, and use it in the way that you can use it.
100%. Roger, one question that always intrigued me about name of the company. Did you guys hire Elon Musk to come up with this name 2.4?
So if we hired who?
Elon Musk.
No, it was actually one of my business partner who were come up with this.
It's very unlikely jewelry company name, or
and from the very beginning our focus was quality. So what couldn't be better, you say that, to name the company after the refraction index of a diamond, 2.417, 2.4 diamonds.
That's awesome.
It's the quality, it's what we stand for, it's what we believe in, it's what we do. Simple.
Roger, you explained me so well what's your vision of the company, how you're moving in your own lane and already excelling it, how Dubai is helping you to achieve your targets, and how it is helping you to be there, what you envisioned.
Yeah, it's first of all, we have the sun. It's helping me a lot because it gives a lot of energy. It also brings a lot of people to this part of the world. It's easy to travel. Everything is like times 10 in Dubai. I'm not talking about luxury now. I'm talking about efficiency, about quality. You need to step up. You compete with people that have extremely good skill set, which means that you need also to be there. Otherwise, you will not exist. And I kind of love that environment when you really push people to do their very best. What else? No, it's a beautiful country. And I moved here 2017, and I fall in love in the culture, in people who coming from all over the world. It was easy, and it's also friendly. It's super safe. Yeah, it's an amazing country in so many ways.
It never tells you to settle. It motivates you to keep pushing.
No, but to settle, why? No.
In a way, like to be basic, to be where you were like a year ago, probably. It motivates you to do your best.
I talked to one of my business partner, which is the main investor in our environment. And we talked about base. He's also Swedish. It's always dark there now, and it's a lot of snow. And it doesn't bring the best out of you. So you need to have a good base somewhere, and you have a base here, and then you can travel if you need to travel, if you want to travel. And it's the same for everyone who comes here. It's really, really good. I love it.
Thank you for walking through this journey of your personal journey of entrepreneurship, of growing brands, being in Dubai for so many years, and again, still you're up, you're still ahead of the game. Roger, one business tip or one learning from your whole career that always helped you to excel?
That was a very good question, Krishna. I will say always try to do the best. Nothing is impossible. Everything is possible, and keep on trying. I will say that's the absolutely biggest learning from my whole career. Never give up. Try. And you have so many failures before you reach your success. You just need to try it from different angles, in different ways. It's so many companies that have proven that. And it took us almost 2 years to develop the recipe, to develop the reactors, to be able to do this kind of good quality that we are doing today. And it costs a lot of money, but you can never give up.
Roger, thanks again. I can't thank you enough for it. It was very intriguing. I was listening to you like a 2-year-old, honestly. Being in industry for 12 years, this is very new for me. This also motivates me to visit you very soon at your facility.
Yeah, you're so welcome.
I'm going to see you very soon. And thank you again for sharing this journey with us. Keep doing your best. All the best again. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, Krishna. It was a really pleasure to be here.
Pleasure was all mine. Thank you for staying for this interesting podcast with us. I do hope you have got some insights about lab-grown diamonds and how this industry and manufacturing is flourishing in UAE. This was very new to me. I do hope it was an interesting podcast. Your feedback will make it more better. Do not forget to interact on our other social channels. Leave your comment over here and do tag Ask the Jewellery Pod. Ask the Jewellery Pod, and we would be more than happy to take up your questions in next podcast. Till we meet again, thank you.